I'm going live right now, going a few minutes early for all of those of you who like to get going and get in there early and not miss a thing. So we're going to start right away. And I want to welcome anybody who's already on the call. My computer is not showing me much yet. It's still loading something, whatever. So when you get on the call, I want you, or sorry, it's not a call. When you get on the live feed, then just tell me where you're from. Tell me if you have migraines. Just say something in the chat and let me know you're here so I know who's here and where everybody's coming from. All right, so today is going to be very special. We're going to talk about one of the most important things for migraines. Yeah, so all of you have probably heard from your doctor and from your health practitioners that it's really important to drink water. So we're probably all getting this big, huge note, hey, drink more water. And I see all these incredible memes out there that are like, if one person tells me to drink water again, I'm going to shoot them. And I understand where you're coming from. And that's why today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mystery out of the whole thing about water and hydration. So if you are wondering why drinking water is not helping you feel better, or if you are wondering why the doctor keeps asking you to drink more water, and if you're wondering what type of water and how much to water, we're going to talk about all of that today. So we have people already on. We have someone from Boise, Idaho. Yay, my hometown. That's great. Now we need more people to join in, and we'll just get every secret out there about hydration so that everybody knows the best source for them. And once you sign on and you tell me where you're from, tell me about your migraines too, like if you have migraines and if water has ever helped you with migraines, or any of your own tips and secrets about water, because essentially we're going to be looking at every facet of hydration today. Hydration is not just about water at all. Hydration has a much bigger component than just water. And that's what I'm going to divulge, all my little water secrets. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Diana Anderson, and I am a health coach that helps people get rid of migraines. But that wasn't always my story. I started out when I was 15 having migraines after a car accident, and they got worse, and I had them all my life until they got to be daily. So eventually I had daily migraines and debilitating, horrible pain where my whole body was shutting down and I couldn't function. And I really was at the point in my life, in my migraine story, where I wasn't going to survive. I mean, I'm just being perfectly honest here. And lots of people have gotten to that stage. When you have daily migraines, pretty much life it sucks, and you don't really have any reason to be here. And I had gotten to that point in my life, and I went to, like many of you guys, I went to see every kind of neurologist and doctor that could possibly have an answer for me, and they didn't have an answer for me other than, here's another drug, try this drug, try this drug. So I finally just realized I was going to have to figure this out on my own if I was going to survive. So that's what I did. I figured out how to heal myself from migraines. It took me a little bit of time, but I healed myself completely, meaning I no longer have migraines. So I went from having them my entire life, all of my life, until they were daily, to having zero. So I did something right? And all I want to do is share that with the world, is say, here's what I did. Here's why I'm feeling so good. Here's what's working for my health coaching clients, and they're getting better. I got better. Let's get everyone better. There's no reason for people to be suffering in the worst way possible with horrific migraines. That's just not important, okay? So that's why I'm here. I'm just going to share what I know. So let's see where everybody's from. So we have Maine. Yay, Amanda from Maine. That's awesome. And so, wow, there's a migraine story right there. Yeah, I hear stories like Amanda's. All her life suffering from migraines. That's just horrible. I'm here to help, to support, to give as much information as possible and help people get well. And we have Sandy in Hawaii. Hi, Sandy. And Katie from New Jersey. And so, yeah, Katie's had migraines 20 years. That's just unacceptable. We've got to get people well, and that's what's going to happen. We're going to get people well. Sun Valley, Idaho. Yay. Hi, Narda. Hi, Mary. I know Mary. She's from Vancouver. Virginia, I think. VA, Virginia. Yeah, sorry. And so Mary says water reduces her shoulder and neck aches today. Yay. Thanks for advice. Yes. Water, minerals, we're going to talk about that and more. You guys are going to hear things about water today that you have never heard before, I think, because I'm learning about water all the time too. So we have Rebecca and Christina and Shelly, and wow, thank you. So Amanda, she says, when I drink less water than normal, she definitely ends up with a migraine. Drinking more water does not seem to get rid of them. But today, we're gonna change that for you, Amanda. Okay, so I'll start jumping in with some just some of the information, but feel free to keep sending me the chats, especially if you have any questions about this. Okay, so we'll just start talking about why water is so important. The first thing to note is that our bodies are made up of, about 70% water. There's no super exact science to the percentage, but it's between 50 and 70% of our body is just water. So we need water for absolutely everything we do. We need oxygen, hydration, glucose, minerals, but we have to have water. It's the biggest part of our body. Everything depends on it. Every function in our body requires water. Our brain, your brain, 2% of your body weight uses 20% of your water. 20%, that little tiny thing called the brain, it's using up a huge amount of your water. So it's important for the brain, and that's why the head, we get migraine pain because we get low on water. Now, the migraines are everything that I have found and discovered about migraines is that the brain gets low on a certain resource. There's either oxygen, hydration, glucose, or minerals. One of those, the brain's not getting enough. And that's a big part of why it's screaming in pain. So that's one of the things we have to do is make sure and provide those nutrients, those essential things to the brain. And I have all the different ways that you can do that. Okay. Thank you for your support, Sandy. Sandy is one of my clients, and she was having daily migraines. And she started with me in October, or she started with me just before October, but in October we started working together very closely. She came to Hawaii and we worked together, and she went from daily migraines to now, like she got a little headache this morning. She got rid of it in 3 hours, all by herself. And she knows what caused it. She can usually trace what causes her headaches or migraines, that they don't even turn into a full-on migraine because she knows how to stop them. And she's down to about four days a month where she has to try and stop a migraine. That's in 3 months ago, she had them daily. So for almost a whole year, she had them daily. 9 months 9 months in a row, she had daily migraines. So that's one of our good stories, and we appreciate Sandy for being here on the call. Yes, thank you for sharing. So back to our water. Let's see. I just want to get my bearings here. I was talking about that our brain needs water, brain needs all of these certain nutrients, and we think drinking water is going to be enough because our body's using all this water. But this is what's really important. Every cell in your body needs water to go inside the cell. And in order to go inside the cell, it has to have an electrical charge, because it is a voltage that actually allows the water to permeate the cell wall and go from the outside of the cell into the cell. Electricity, honestly, it's electricity. It's a volt of electricity that allows the water to go in the cell. And the same kind of electricity allows the water to come out of the cell, bringing waste. So it goes nutrients in and waste out, and electrical charge makes that happen. And what allows the electrical charge? Electrolytes. Now, if we don't have electrolytes in our body, our system can't run. We have to have electrolytes. And these include calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, chlorate. There's so many different minerals. So an electrolyte, all that means is a mineral that's inside our body. If you have mineral outside your body, it's a mineral. Inside your body, it's an electrolyte. And it's producing, it's a conductor of energy, of electricity for your body. So you have to have those, or the water goes in and it goes into the blood and it goes into the interstitial tissue and it will go into the lymph system, but it won't go into cells directly. So that then we get dehydrated if we don't have that electrical charge. Here's the new big news. I'm going to share with you guys something you may have never heard of before. Big news. All of the electronics that we deal with every day, the computer, the phone, the cords, and the transformers that dim our switches, and on and on and on. All of these things have a magnetic field. They have an electrical charge. Our bodies have an electrical charge, and it's usually in the range of 4 to 60 hertz. That's our normal electrical charge. But a computer is 300 hertz. Okay, and a transformer that dim switches on your walls are 500 hertz. And so all of these magnetic fields that we are bombarded with all the time, they really can disrupt our own electrical charge. So you're trying to, drink enough electrolytes so that you can get the right electrical charge to get hydration into the cells. And guess what? The computer is going to mess that up. It's considered a toxin. It's not a normal thing that supports the body. So what does that mean for us? Oh my gosh, we all have computers, we all have cell phones, we have to deal with this every single day. It means we have to take time to get grounded, to get outside, to get away from our electronics, and to breathe and ground our energy so that our own electrical system that's inside of our body can function normally. Right? So we're out there spending all day with our cell phone, never away from our body, we're going to kind of reprogram or, sync up with the wrong signal or the wrong electrical field for our body. Downtime. So I have started something new for myself. I've been experimenting with this for a little while. I turn my cell phone off at night and put it away from my body, and I turn off all electronics near my bed. And not just electronics, but my bed's away from any cords or walls or anything. And just to make sure I have 8 hours with zero electronic fields around my body. And so those are some things you can do. I'm not saying that that's going to change whether or not you have migraines. What I'm saying is we have to do things that support the body so that hydration is easy. That means reducing toxicity. So alcohol is not just a diuretic. It also has a huge dehydrating effect because it uses so much of our hydration for the liver to process that alcohol. So it's a diuretic because it's using our water up and it's dehydrating ourselves. So we want to avoid alcohol. We want to avoid toxins, things like mold and things like asbestos and poor air quality, pollution. Being in a big city around a lot of pollution, that's going to be hard, but we can get air purifiers or just try to keep our body free of as many toxins or doing things that help relieve toxicity in our body. Eating a lot of healthy plants because plants have electrolytes and they have water. And so when you eat plants, then your body knows what to do with that water. It can get into the cells because of the electrolytes. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a second, check on the comments and see if everyone's following along or what questions might be here, because I'm sort of just bombarding you with a lot of information about how to get that water into your cells. Okay, so wow, we have people from all over, a bunch of new people. Anne and Ray, thank you for joining us. Wow, there's a lot to keep up with. And Sony, hopefully I said that right. Sherry. Okay, so let me read some of these comments. So Sherry mentioned, and this is a really thing that I want all of you guys to pay attention to. Sherry mentioned that screen time makes her exhausted. It's really exhausting. And how, please give me a thumbs up if any of you have felt the fatigue associated with screen time. Like you spend an hour or 2 or 10 on the computer and just feel exhausted. Give me a thumbs up. All right. And yeah, that's a big one. And so Shelly says that sometimes she feels a sluggish headache coming on when she drinks a liquid IV. And then she will drink a liquid IV. Okay, so liquid, is that like liquid 4, this liquid IV? I don't know what that is. It's a hydration multiplier. Okay, and that hits the cellular transport. Good ideas. And Shelly, I really like that. It's an electrolyte drink mix. I like that. See, that's what I do. I drink really good spring water. First of all, we're going to talk about the quality of water. Really good spring water, and I put electrolytes in it. And Shelly says computers hurt her eyes. So a lot of us do get fatigue from the computer. I'm going to take a drink. You guys all hopefully have a drink nearby. Join me. Water, hydrate. Ugh. Oh, it's so yummy. I like this water. I'll talk about the quality of water in a minute. So yeah, the computer is exhausting, and part of it is it's, taking away. When we're on the computer, here's what happens. So first of all, we're using up oxygen, hydration, glucose, and minerals at a pretty high rate because we got a lot of stimuli coming in. So we're using up our resources a lot. So what happens, there's 2 other things that are really important when we're on the computer. Our brain and our heart kind of disconnect a little bit. And we are not as grounded because all our energies up here, we're focused on the computer. We're not focused on our body. And if we get low on resources, our body will tighten up here just to keep more blood in the head so that we have enough energy to be on the computer for a while. And then we might also go like this and lean forward and strain these neck muscles by looking at the computer that way instead of being stacked over our spine. And so all of that contributes. I mean, we've got the screen using up our energy, it's dehydrating ourselves, and we're looking forward and maybe just keeping the energy up in our head. So there's a lot of things we have to mitigate for, and we have to just be careful. We have to be aware. Okay, I've been on the computer for an hour or 2. I need to stop. I need to go walk around, go outside, get some fresh air, touch some plants, touch an animal, squeeze a kid, squeeze your neighbor, whatever you can do, and reconnect with the body, reconnect with yourself, and hydrate. In between these little screen time breaks, take lots of hydration and quality hydration. So let's talk about hydration. And Ray says sunshine can cause migraines for him sometimes, even though he loves sunshine. Well, let me address that really quickly. So even though it's not about hydration, this is about the sun and the eyes. If we get too much light in our eyes, it can cause a migraine because it is so much stimulation. And if we're already dehydrated or we're already overstimulated in our nervous system, too much light can just send us over the edge. So it's not the sunlight, it's what's happened before you hit the sunlight. Like, have you had enough hydration? Have you had enough calming of the nervous system? Is that sunlight something you can take in without being overwhelmed? And hydration is a big piece of that. So there's a good tip. And and we also got fluorescent lights bothering the eyes. Exactly. And that part of the reason for that is, they blink. It's so small, subtle, and fast, we can't usually see it unless they get old and they're wearing out. But they blink, and so not only are we getting that light stimulation, but we're getting this flashing all day long, which is really stimulating to the nervous system and the brain. So that's why we don't like fluorescent lights. So let's talk about quality of water. Unless anyone has any questions, we're going to talk about the quality of your water, because that makes a difference too. So I get my water from Kauai Springs. Kauai Springs gets their water from the top of the mountain. So we have a mountain here. It's the rainiest place on earth. And the water comes down and it flows down the streams and and I get that water and they deliver it to my house. So that's not available to everybody, obviously. You know, you can have, I had spring water delivered to me in Boise too. It came straight from a spring. The reason I like the spring water is because I read this wonderful study. Is actually not a study. It was a Nobel Prize. It was given to a guy who found out that when they put chlorine in water, it breaks down all the organic matter that might be in there. So let's say you have a little leaf in there. It's not got bacteria, but that leaf is in there, and it will break down that and make that leaf go into little teeny microscopic pieces. And also, I forgot. I was going to say also little bacteria, it'll break all that down. So you have all this broken down little matter in there from the chlorine. Okay. Your body just has to deal with all these little tiny particulates in the water. Well, then that's one thing. Then they also put in fluoride, and fluoride is normally a natural mineral, but that's not where they get the fluoride from. And so then your body has to deal with the fluoride, and fluoride has been known to calcify in the body, and it might disrupt minerals. Because the reason I say that, there's some people who are working with, not me, but some people I know who are working with people with with migraines, and they've taken them off of fluoride. They've taken them away from water with fluoride, tap water, and their migraines improved just from taking them off tap water, and just that alone. So I think if you do have migraines, you should avoid tap water if you can, or make sure it filters out fluoride. Not all filters filter fluoride. A lot of them just filter chlorine and some particulates. So anyway, spring water is nice if you can get it, or distilled water, or something that is completely clean, because it'll help be more quality. Then the other thing, this is a lot of stuff, guys, about hydration, but Emoto, remember Dr. Emoto was the Japanese doctor who studied water, and he took little crystals of water from tap water, from lakes and different places, and froze the crystals and looked at the crystals. And water that was structured and really high quality water, clean water, had a very symmetrical pattern, snowflake pattern when it was frozen. But water that was damaged, like tap water or water that had chemicals in it, was never formed a crystal. It just became kind of this weird frozen shape that didn't have any structure to it. So the structure of water is another thing to consider. There's a lot of things to consider. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. For those of you who want to think about water, it's a complex thing. You can look at, should I do structured water? Should I do spring water? Or should I just filter my water? Get good quality water and make sure you get electrolytes. Now, I use electrolytes all the time. Even though I don't have any migraines, I still need lots of minerals. So I use electrolytes, and I eat a lot of plants. I didn't bring my electrolyte bottle that I use. It doesn't matter which one you use, but I use Now brand colloidal minerals. And I can post that below, because I'm going to post an article, a link to an article below here, below the live, that will tell you about different types of water, how to get good minerals, and all of that. So just watch for that link. It'll be up later today. So let's go back and see all these amazing comments. So I love this question from Carrie. Let's talk about that. She said, if you've been chronically dehydrated for a long time, is there a way to rehydrate to get back to baseline? Outstanding question, Carrie. Thank you so much. So yes, the answer is yes, and it will take a little bit of time, but the first thing you do is you would get a good electrolyte to add to your water. Now, I've been reading different things about, some people say just take the electrolytes periodically. I just like to put them right in my water, in my big water bottle, so I know I've always got them. I don't have to remember all the time. Did I take my electrolytes? How many times a day should I take them? I just put them in my big, huge water bottle, so I always have them. So that's what I would recommend. And I would say if you've been chronically dehydrated, the big issue with chronic dehydration is it's usually caused because of a sluggish liver. That may sound kind of silly, but our liver stores minerals. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to store electrolytes so you never run out. But if your liver is sluggish, it won't store enough electrolytes. And then while you have, let's see, then when you just have to always stay hydrated extra hard until your liver gets well. So part of getting back to baseline, Carrie, is getting your liver well. And how I did that, because I was as bad as it could get. My liver was damaged. My blood vessels were damaged. I had daily migraines. I was as bad as it gets, right? So wanted to die and felt like I was dying at some points. What I had to do was I had to get off all medication. I had to not drink any alcohol and start to heal my liver by eating lower saturated fat diet, because saturated fats really tax the liver. So I slowed down on what I was consuming to help the liver heal naturally. And I just got better and better and better until I wasn't dehydrated anymore. Kept the minerals the whole time, kept taking them. And so I've been migraine free for 3 years. I still take minerals. Yeah, I still take minerals, and I still try to keep that hydration up, because hydration is the fountain of youth. It really is. If we can calm our nervous system and stay hydrated, we are going to stay young longer. So that's an important one. I feel very healthy. You know, I have 6 grandchildren, and I can carry them on my back. I can take them hiking, and I can run around and play on the floor with them. I get on the floor fine, things like that, where some people, if you're not hydrated, it's hard to be moving as much and be strong. So that's a really important part. It's the fountain of youth. Stay hydrated. Hopefully that answers your question, Carrie. Let's see. Okay, so Carrie, you said mine is caused by migraine meds. Is that what you mean by your liver weakness or your dehydration? What can you please clarify what you mean by that? Type me a response to that so I can understand that question. And then I want to say her name right. Sony, I don't know how to say your name. Sherry's the last name. She says, how do you feel about pH water with electrolytes? Yes, absolutely. So first of all, water with electrolytes, that's my number one thing I would say. If I say anything today, it's pound into you how important it is to have electrolytes, because the water won't go into your cells if you don't have electrolytes. So for pH, a lot of people like to do a high pH, like 8 or 9 pH. I don't do that. So I'm not going to say I'm the expert on pH or I know everything about the pH of your water. Here's what my personal philosophy is, and I don't have any great research to share with you about this, but my personal philosophy is our blood wants to be 7.4 pH. That's how we stay healthy. If your pH goes a couple degrees below that or above or below that, you die. Your body has to maintain real close to 7.4. So I just drink that. I just drink at the same pH as your blood is supposed to be. So I don't know if, doing 8 or 9 helps raise your pH better. I just drink it. I try to drink it 7.5. So I hope that helps, but definitely electrolytes. I know that for sure. And the pH is just my own personal opinion. Okay. So yeah, Carrie says her migraine medication causes her dehydration. Absolutely. So alcohol causes dehydration. Most all medications, including migraine medication, including pain medication, cause dehydration for sure, because our body has to process that through the liver. It's a toxin and it will cause dehydration. And so do environmental toxins. They all cause dehydration. So I personally have a plan that I have a course that I developed for people, and I need to really wrap up quick so I don't keep you guys too long. But I have a course I developed for people, and what I do in there is I teach them how to get off their migraine medication and have no migraines. So Sandy, who we saw earlier, she went from daily migraines down to 4 days where she had to stop her migraine before it, so she had 4 days last month and 4 days the month before where she had to mitigate and stop the migraine. Today she stopped 1 in 3 hours. And so instead of every day, 4 days a month, Yeah, she has to stop. She's been off her her migraine medication and pain medication since October. And she's doing great because it really helps reduce your migraines once you get off the medication because you're more hydrated. And then we have to deal with how to stop a migraine when it comes. And I can teach you guys that. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to do this every Tuesday. I'm going to talk about a migraine subject that is important for you guys. And yeah, Sandy put, it works, you guys. I'm living proof. She is living proof. She does great. And I do have other clients that were supposed to be on here that are also great testimonials for this. But I'm going to do a Facebook Live every Tuesday. I look forward to helping you learn a new topic about how to help stop migraines. And then if you want to know more information from me, I have a YouTube channel, I have a Facebook group called No More Migraines, and then I have, of course, I have 2 books online, 2 books on Amazon that you can buy that are my protocol, How to Get Well. So there's a lot of ways that you can get information from me. I got well from migraines after having daily migraines, and my first thought was, this works. I got to tell everybody. So my goal is to stop the whole world from having migraines. I know that's a kind of a crazy goal, but if I could, that's what I want to do, is stop migraines from being a thing on the planet, because I know what it's like. It's like the worst thing, I think, the worst thing we could go through, to me. I mean, there's a few, losing loved ones and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as pain goes, I don't think there's nothing I've experienced that is worse than migraines. Yeah. So I'm here to be a support for you guys. I have lots of information online. I have a website and classes that are free. This will be here every Tuesday at this time. So please, join me and learn how to get rid of migraines, and let me know if you want to work with me. I also do one-on-one coaching, and I just want to help. I just want to help people stop having migraines. So thank you, Shelley, for your good words, and thank you, everybody. I'm glad it was great information for you, Amanda. And so let me know what I can do to help you, and I look forward to staying connected. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a wonderful week.